Hello again. It is once more Dr. Jimmy. It is now late at night or early in the morning, depending on how you look at it, for either Saturday the 14th or Sunday the 15th of October. I prefer to think of it as being a continuation of the night of Saturday the 14th, where I enjoyed the 19th night of Universal Orlando Halloween Horror Nights 27 on the 19th night of the event. Thus, once more, going every single night so far, keeping a perfect record, hitting every night of Horror Nights that we've had this year in Orlando. I've never got that far before. The last times that I've tried, I might have gone 19, 20, 21, 22 nights, but I missed a few in between. And last year, for example, I got up to 22 nights, but I missed 9 nights getting there. That'd be like missing all of last week and this week so far. That would be incredible. And only having gone 10 times so far would be where I would be at if I missed 9 nights this year. But I didn't. I've done it for 19 nights. It's wonderful. And I hope to go back tomorrow night for night 20. Yes. But before I continue a little bit, interesting, I'm a bit colour-coded this time with the black and white shirt, black and white hat, and somewhere in the neighbourhood a black and white cat. But she'll show up probably. On the shirt, this is a baseball style shirt, see? Baseball style. It's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt. I love this one because it's like a movie poster to the original movie, but it's a British advertisement, which is why it says X. So it says London. X, because in Britain, the movie hadn't given an X certificate, because they used to do that. Any horror movie at all was branded as an X. And Texas Chainsaw was thought to be horrifically violent. By today's standards, the original Texas Chainsaw might even have gotten the PG, because there's very little blood in the movie. People don't know that. They think they saw arms and legs and blood spurting out and people being sawed up, but they really didn't see very much. It was all suggested an illusion. The sequels that came afterwards, and the unrated editions especially of those sequels, you got to see what you thought you saw in the first one. But Texas Chainsaw was a house from last year. We're talking about this year, and we're talking about Scare Zone cocktails. I have one set Scare Zone left. If you want to call it a set Scare Zone, there ain't a lot of sets. But the last one on the brochure as an official Scare Zone is the Altars of Horror, which is a sort of little, some people think a photo op, but it's usually a bit too busy to even stop and get good pictures. Basically, you have characters from 5 haunted houses in the streets, and the 5 haunted houses are those that are associated with intellectual properties. Basically, you have American Horror Story and The Shining. I'm actually doing it as you walk in to your right. Shining, American Horror. Hello, Lenny. You've got black and white cat to match the outfit. Oh, she didn't like being picked up. Oh, she didn't like being picked up. Oh, she didn't like being picked up. Yes, she's complaining cat. But she's a nice kitty. Good kitty. No, you have American Horror Story. You have The Shining. You have Saw. You have the horrors of Blumhouse. And you have Ash vs. Evil Dead as you walk up on either side. The altars, I guess those are the signposts with the face of bone, the skull up there, and underneath the logos for all the IPs. When they first talked about this, I thought maybe they're actually going to have some kind of little stages, and I thought maybe the characters would be someone who put on a little show for us. I thought maybe we'd have Jack Torrance, you know, or some people even laughingly said we'd have Jigsaw Billy, you know, Billy and Danny doing tricycle races. That would be hysterical. But they didn't do that. No. Some people thought, I thought personally, we'd have somebody like, somebody like one of the characters from, and maybe characters might even be in the houses, yeah? One of the characters from Coven, like one of the Supremes or something, like Fiona or somebody, or Marie Lavelle, doing, could really do something with the audience back and forth. A character that could snap back and talk back, like Chance did last year. So I thought Jack would be there with Dan, do his stuff, Little Pig, whatever, and you'd have Ash. I thought Ash would be there doing shtick, and did have like voice actor characters type people. Not all of them, but some of them. And the others would just sort of be looking spooky. I thought it would be rather clever, but they didn't do that. They picked characters that were in the houses, and I'm not even sure. I'm assuming these are separate people, not the same ones who are in the houses, but the costumes are pretty much the same. So we've got the Grady twins, and that's all that shows up for Shining. American Horror Story, they alternate between Papa Legba, the Butcher, and Bloody Face. So I guess that's one from each different series, because that's Bloody Face is Asylum, Butcher is Roanoke, and Papa Legba is Coven. And then from Blumhouse they've got Bagul and some Purgers, at least two different Purgers, a polite stranger type Purger and a Statue of Liberty Purger from the election year movie. And they have neither of them are in the house, by the way. They've got they're from the street. At least the characters are in the streets, so it's even more redundant. They've got Bagul, and they have the Bride in Black from Insidious, and those are the Blumhouse characters that show up. And they have for Saw they have two characters. They have Amanda with the reverse bear trap, and they have one of the pigs, one of the pig face guys from Saw. And for Ash vs. Evil Dead, they got Pablo with the Necronomicon on his face, possessed by the spirit of the book. They also have a female Deadite, a young, prettier female Deadite, and a senior citizen female Deadite in sweatpants. I think that's all they've got. And not all of them are always there all the time, and they switch them out. But basically, they got the 5 IPs, basically, and so that's what they do. I spent extra time tonight at the event standing by and watching action in Altars of Horror, because I really hadn't done that. I've walked through many times, but just to see, and it's actually a pretty effective zone. I've seen some good scares tonight, and I got one too. The damn pig from Saw comes right up and goes right in my ear. I didn't even know he was behind me. It was like, damn. Oh, and when the pig and Amanda, who are Saw characters, the Saw queue, the regular Saw queue, goes in through Shrek, and so they're going right by the scare zone. And they go up onto the sidewalk to the ropes where the queue is, and they scare people in the queue going into Saw. So the characters from Saw are attacking the queue going into the Saw house, and that is cool. I thought that was a really clever way. It's almost like extending the house into the very long queue line, not express, but the regular. It was up to like 80 minutes or something at one point, or maybe even longer, than 90, 100 minutes. All the queues were horrible tonight. If I didn't have Express, I'd still be there, because I wouldn't have done all the houses yet. Even starting early. The one house I could just walk on, though, was Ash vs. Evil Dead, especially early in the evening. That seems to have the lowest queue rates, although I like the house. I do. A lot of people hate it, but I like it. Sometimes there are houses that are supposed to be funny, and that's one of them. Plus, it's got the puppet. So then, cocktail. What am I going to make? a cocktail for Altars of Horror Scherzo? Well, I've already made a cocktail for all of those haunted houses that are featured in the Scare Zone. I've made a cocktail for The Shining. If you remember, it was my red rum, which had rum and some bourbon and I think it was the raspberry syrup to make it red, the Monin raspberry syrup. I made 3 separate cocktails for American Horror Story. One for Asylum that had some banana liqueur, because it's bananas, you know, crazy. And I forget what else was in there. There was that one. Did it have tequila in it? I don't know, but there was the Asylum one. There was the one for Coven. I took a New Orleans Sazerac recipe, but added a special ingredient to make it witchy, which was Strega. There was the a Bloody Butcher, Piggy Man, Bloody Mary for Roanoke, which featured bacon, vodka, of course, with tomato juice and whatever else was in there to be a Bloody Mary. Then for Saw, the Games of Jigsaw, the haunted house, I had a cocktail that also featured the bacon vodka and some Midori, among other things. The idea was that melon with prosciutto that you sometimes get as a dish, rather lush and delicious thing, a delicacy. Jägermeister was one of. I'm sorry, what was I talking about? No, there wasn't any Jägermeister in that one. There was in the one for Blumhouse. Instead of making 3 cocktails, I made 1 cocktail that incorporated all 3 IPs. There was some sparkling apple cider, I think, and some of the same Monin raspberry and some Jägermeister, thus evoking a bit of I don't remember what part was the purge, but the apple cider and there was part of it was for sinister because it was like the kid thing, and then there was the Jägermeister was definitely for insidious and that, and then there was for Ash vs Evil Dead the notorious pink fuck, following a recipe given on the program itself, substituting absinthe for ketamine. So those were the cocktails I had made, and you know, I jokingly suggested I'll make all of those again, get a great big glass, pour all 5 of them in there, and then drink that. Of course, if I did that, I'd not be going to any more horror nights this year or any other year, because I'd be on the floor dead, or at least I would be really, really sick. But a suicide cocktail utilizing ingredients from all 5 house cocktails that make up Altars of Horror does work. Well, it might taste bloody awful, but I'm going to do it anyway. So that's the idea. I have my cocktail shaker, and now let's start. So, first one, The Shining. That was the red rum. I'm only going to use 1 ingredient from each of those cocktails. So, there were a lot of other ingredients in that cocktail. As I said, there was some rye whiskey, actually, and some other stuff. But what I'm going to use for The Shining is 1 ingredient that was featured in the red rum cocktail I made for The Shining, and that is Briny Gold Shipwreck Spiced Rum. If you remember, I chose this spiced rum for the red rum cocktail because gold reminded me of the Gold Ballroom, where Jack liked to go and get drunk. You can see him passed out on the bar. So, we will put Here we go. A shot of the briny gold, spiced rum. That goes in first. Now I remember what I was going to get before. Paper towels. And I still have some over here. So I can... Although I've only got condensation to worry about right now. Haven't spilled yet. Okay. That's taken care of. Don't want to overlook it. Alright. American Horror Story. I'd made 3 different cocktails. But as some of the ingredients were used in other cocktails that we'll be touching on today, the one most distinctive ingredient was from the cocktail I made for Coven, which is to me the center of the house and one of the best parts of it. Although I really like all 3. The Asylum's good too, and Grown. I mean, it's a good. I think it's one of my favorite houses this year. Although Scarecrow is still the favorite house. I think American Horror Story comes in second. I would like to put Dead Waters and The Fallen. You know, I'd like to have Hive, all of the originals as the top 4, but American Horror Story is really good, and it's hard for me to rank them. I mean, it would change daily. I love all the houses very much, especially though the 4 originals and Horror Story Shining from the IPs. What was the other one? Aren't there 5 IPs? Horror Story Shining. And Ash vs. Evil Dead amongst the IPs. And the 2 that are the least interesting to me are Saw and Horrors of Blumhouse. But I like both of them. I like them both. The energy level was very high on both of those houses. The casts are awesome. But but the Saw house is too much like the 2009 Saw house. It's a little bit too much deja voodoo going on in there. It's not bad, and they've done some new things, but it doesn't, you know, I just have a been there, done that feel about it. It does, and I'm the sort that looking at a lot of victims doesn't get me the way that you know. I guess I'm not sadistic enough to enjoy people's pain. So looking at all of the traps and victims in the traps doesn't get me the way, you know, something coming after me would. So it's a personal flavor. It's excellent house. I like it a lot, but it's lower on my list than the other IPs. Horrors of Blumhouse I really liked, except that the 2 scenes are so short, except for Insidious, and that's all about a movie we haven't seen yet. Otherwise, cast is excellent, and except for the fact I'm running around going, what is this? What's going on? I don't. Why is this? You know, why is that child dressed as a duck? Why is that man strangling that woman? What's going on? Who's being electrocuted? What does this have to do with anything? Because I haven't seen the movie. No one's seen the movie yet. So it's a bit puzzling. I'm sure if I saw the movie, when I see the movie, I'll look, oh my, that was rather clever. I like that. But not having, I saw a video from Hollywood where Lee Wano and Lin Shaye go through the maze. Of course, they know what everything is, and they're like, oh yeah, oh my God, oh that's so great. Oh look, it's the key man. Oh yes, because they know what it all is. All I know about is from the first 3 Insidious. You know, I know the guy with the red face, the tiptoe through the tulips, and I like that. I love that in the house, and the bride in black, and the stuff from the first 2 Insidious, the first 3 Insidiouses. But then you get so much of it is from the last key, and it's like, what does this mean? You know. All right, so. Tangents. This video will go over long, obviously. The most distinctive cocktail, though, I think, for American Horror Story was the one for Coven, which I had made that Sazerac, which had a special extra witchy ingredient, the witchy ingredient being the liqueur called strega, which is witchy. As you recall, strega means witch in Italian, and there's witches on the label. See the witches dancing there, and there's Sabbath with the devil. Is there a devil there? Yes, they're dancing with devils. And there's an old witch with a broom, and even up here we have that witch with her broom. It's a symbol. This is a digestif. I like, if I have a nice big Italian meal, I start with Campari before I eat, because that's an aperitif, and then some strega after the food is wonderful as a digestif. It's like a dessert liqueur because it's sweet. So it's red to start and yellow to end it there. It's like that. So bright yellow, Hufflepuff because it's witches. So I pour it, splash. Okay, you know I'm using the whole thing. There's going to be way more liquor in the shaker than will fit in my cocktail glass. This is going to be an orgy, not an orgy, but it's going to be debauchery. I hope I wake up tomorrow morning. All right. So, Saw, the games of Jigsaw. The Saw cocktail was the one that featured the Midori melon liqueur and the bacon vodka. And the bacon vodka was also used for the Roanoke cocktail. But the reason I didn't use that very distinctive ingredient for the American Horror Story part of this cocktail is I'm using it for Saw. So here it is, representing Saw then, the Saw part of Altars of Horror. We have bacon flavored vodka. So I pour that into this. Lenny! I put this on the desk, and she's like sitting here, and she's like, she sees this on the, oh, she wants to play with it. Don't, it's not a cat toy, it's a cork, it's a liquor cork. You'll get cat hair in my vodka. Ooh, overflow. Oh dear, I poured too much into the shot glass, it overflowed. I have to do the Dutch thing. I've mentioned that before, and you might not know what the hell I'm talking about. When they serve Jennifer, not a girl named Jennifer being served by a bartender, no. When they serve Jennifer, which is spelled differently, and that's Dutch gin. When they serve that, traditionally, they serve it in a little glass on the bar, and they fill it all the way to the top so it's like surface tension. And if you try to even pick it up, it'll spill all over the place. And traditionally, the Dutch will, you know, put their hands to their sides and bend over, leaving it on the table, bend over on the counter and take the first sip that way. Otherwise, it'll spill their gin. All right, so here is the bacon vodka. Put that in. Okay, that represents Saw. All right, now for horrors of Blumhouse characters seen in Altars of Horror. And there's some from Purge and some from Sinister and some from Insidious, but we're just going to go with Insidious. Oh. Because all three were in the cocktail, and the most distinctive liquor in the cocktail was Jägermeister, which represented Insidious because it was dark and takes you into the further. So, with no further ado, let's pour this dark and sinister liqueur, which will, after you drink it, cause you to purge the whole thing. So it does fit all three for the horrors of Blumhouse. This is beginning to get very disturbing. I have no idea. And if that weren't bad enough, the last bit may turn this into a fucking nightmare. Because the most distinctive ingredient as far as liquors go in the Pink Fuck, the cocktail I made for Ash vs. Evil Dead. Yes, there was some absinthe in there, but that's not what we're going to put in. we're going to put in the strawberry liqueur. Specifically, I use Tequila Rose strawberry cream liqueur. And that's where we've come to a danger zone. I'm going to try to get as much of the Jaeger out of the before I pour this in, because it's a cream liqueur, which notoriously doesn't really blend all that well with the other stuff. The cream might separate and get clotty and icky. It could turn into a milkshake from hell, like a certain cocktail I made for the Alice Cooper haunted house back in 2012, or rather had made for me at Finnegan's, and it got very icky. I hope this will be better than that, but here it goes. Alright. There. All 5 liquors. A whole shot of each has been put into the cocktail shaker, which means there's going to be a lot more liquid in here than can fit in this glass. And I'm actually shaking this over the trash bin because it's so full. And I'm afraid that it's going to spill. A little bit will drip out while I'm shaking it. And I'm not wrong. Oh my goodness. And, oh, is it cold? Because there's so much here. So let's start pouring this out. Here it is. The concoction. The Altars of Horror. It's sort of a pinkish beige cocktail. Disturbingly the color of human flesh, although let's not be racist. Caucasian human flesh. Well, who called a drink a Caucasian? Oh, yes, the dude in The Big Lebowski used to refer to a white Russian, which is like vodka and Baileys or something, Kahlua. No, it was vodka, Kahlua. Well, it's like a black Russian, only without the... I don't remember what's all in there. It's that cream, and I think it's Bailey's vodka and something else. Maybe cream, whipped cream. I don't remember. It's a white Russian. Cat, you're knocking my stuff all over. I got to do stuff with that on Monday, so don't disturb that. So, yeah, he called it that. That was the gag, because it's a white Russian. But this really has a disturbing, you know, see my fingers, see the cocktail, similar colored tone. The video doesn't quite look as much, but it's sort of pinkish beige. Will it taste like human flesh? Yummy. Maybe a little bit because it has a pork flavor in it. Well, you know what? That tastes way too much better than it deserves. I mean, the ingredients that were put in there, maybe I didn't shake it enough. The spiced rum, the herbal Strega, and Jägermeister, and bacon vodka and tequila rose cream, and it doesn't even seem to be clotting. It's just that sort of pale, creamy, flesh tone drink. And it tastes much better than it should. I was expecting a vial. I was expecting, you know, take a sip and go. I was expecting that. Oh, the cat did not like that. The cat did not like it because I made a spitty noise. And the cat thinks I'm mad. No, I'm not. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to bite. I'm not an angry kitty. No, spitty noise. She's licking her tail now. Defiance or something. very peculiar flavor. Reminds me of something I can't put my finger on. All the different liqueurs blended together to form a taste that is not at all bad. It's creamy and sweet and very strong. You'd think, you know, bacon and rum and Jägermeister and strawberries and all of that would make something, you know. I was thinking a suicide cocktail. You know, like when the suicide is when you go to a place that's got one of those self-serve soda things, and instead of just getting one type, you know, you put some ice in your cup and you put a little bit of every one. You put some, you know, Coke and the lemon lime soda with its Sprite or whatever. If it's Coke product, it would be the other one. 7-Up if it's Pepsi products, right? You know, the Mr. Pibb or Mountain Dew, whichever one it is. Not Mountain Dew, Mr. Pibb or Dr. Pepper, depending on which Pepsi or Coke. You know, the equivalents, Mellow Yellow or Mountain Dew. All of that. You get a little bit of every kind of soda that's there. Orange soda, whatever they've got. And you mix it all together and drink it. And it usually is like, not bad, but, you know, they used to call it a suicide. Because, God, if you drink this, you die. This is not as bad as I thought it would be. It doesn't have a harsh flavor at all. I guess they all canceled each other out. Surprisingly mellow. It's hard to detect the individual flavors. It's like, if I didn't know it had strawberry, I think it might have Bailey's or some other cream liqueur in it to give it that creamy tone. Amarula, maybe. You know, the African cream liqueur that's made from amarula fruit, which elephants like to eat when they get fermented and the elephants get drunk. I'm not making that up. I think I used it in a cocktail last year, Tomb of the Ancients, because I needed something from Africa. But that it does kind of taste like that. If I didn't know better, if I didn't know it was the strawberry cream, pour some more of this madness in, because I got plenty of booze in this shaker, not blender. Booze in the blender. That's the wrong type of cocktail. Lots more. Poured some more in. Yeah, it still tastes the same. There's the hint of Jägermeister, but it's not like, you know, like a surfer on acid or something. It's got a strong Jäger with peach nuts or something. You can feel that. You don't here. It's just a hint of something behind the scenes. It's a little aftertaste. And the Strega herbs, because that's a herbal liqueur, it's sweet, and the spice, it all covers it up, and it's sort of like, you know, you think it might be something with Bailey's and maybe something that you can't quite put your finger on. Well, you wouldn't know it because I think it all kind of mellowed together. I guess the bacon and the spice and the strawberries all mellowed together. Actually, you know, you make some kind of pork with some strawberries and some spice, that would actually work if you're cooking, because pork goes good with fruit and with spices. I've had stuff like that. You put cloves and stuff in the pork, and they serve it with pineapple, or they serve it with apple, you know, or applesauce or something. The strawberries aren't that far off. I mean, you know, so as a cocktail, these flavors actually go quite well. I'm really surprised by that. I was expecting a nightmare, but it's actually a bit charming. You know, it's a sort of cloudy, and it's not separating or anything in the I thought like the pink fat kind of separated a little bit, but it's not doing that here. I guess there's just enough of the tequila rose compared with the others. You don't get those little globules of cream in the... It's not doing that, and I'm quite surprised. This is actually very nice. I mean, I get weird notes. I'm tasting it, and I think of things like bubble gum. It doesn't really taste like bubble gum, but it just reminded me in a way something about. I'm just a bit surprised. Taken aback. So that's actually a pleasant surprise. And the scare zone, although it wasn't what I thought it would be exactly, it's not bad, and it's a bit of a pleasant surprise because I thought it would be a bit more awful. But for what it is, it's a decent little scare zone, and I enjoyed watching people get scared tonight. And like I said, the pig and Amanda especially going over to the queue, that's brilliant. The queue for Saul. And it was the pig who got up on me today. It was very lovely. I haven't done a trip report video, first impressions, but in some of these cocktail videos I bring up some of the, especially the ones that have been made since the event started. I bring up some stuff, and I've been continuing to do that. I might as well continue in this one as I enjoy this beverage. I'm not going to finish this because I got a lot more in here, and it would be, I don't know how long, and we're getting close to 40 minutes. But to do a little brief first impressions for an event that's more than halfway over, yeah, I've already mentioned the houses I like best, but I think my personal favorite house this year is Scarecrow the Reaping. It's just, the intensity is so brilliant. There seems to be a piggy thing going on this year. There are 3 scarecrows that look like pigs in the heart of the house. And there's 1 and 2, and then a big one that comes from the roof. Sometimes the one that comes from the roof has more of a wolf-like face. So I wonder, is it 3 pigs and a bad wolf? But I'm not kidding, because then later on, when you're walking around, you have some walls of wood, and then you have one of bricks, and then a wall made of straw. And it's like wood, brick, straw. Wolf, 3 pigs. And even when you go through after the crow room, there's a place where it's like something's blowing on you. And there's like fluffy things, like wolf tails, fluffy, that you have to push out in this dark, dark room. Are we getting blown by a big bad wolf in that room? Is this house the secret story of the 3 little pigs disguised as a scarecrow house in the Dust Bowl? It sounds ridiculous, and I think about the Dust Bowl, and I think about tornadoes, and I think about the Wizard of Oz, because it's a scarecrow house. I can't help but think about that, because the time period would be the 30s when the Wizard of Oz came out in 1939, right? And it was Kansas or someplace, and there was a cyclone, and something knocked that house over. There's like a whole silos down in the middle of it, and the windmill is broke. I mean, there seems to have been a storm there, a dust bowl. It's not just a dust storm. I think a dust devil. I think the cyclone. Is this a connection to the Wizard of Oz and the 3 pigs? I know it sounds weird, but there's some fairy tale kid story stuff going on in this house. Because the whole thing about scarecrows, what you're thinking, of course. The code word for the house, I believe, was brains, to tease people to think about zombies. But of course, it really means, you know, how does it go? I hate it when I forget stuff, because I could sing the song in the house earlier sometimes, but something about being a nothing. It's hard to be a nothing with your head all full of stuffing. Your heart all full of pain. Yeah. Yes. How does it go? Oh, yes. Oh, I could tell you why the mountains near the shore. I could think of things I never thought before, and think again, and tell you more, or something like that. Oh, yes. Yeah, scarecrows. But there was some kids in there, some girls, and they just, their feet, when the big guy jumps out, and the little feet were jumping up and down behind me, and you could hear the little feet tap, tap, tap. It was so wonderful. It's just amazing. There was another house, there were some girls in front of me, and they were like just falling on the ground. Was that the Fallen? I had to be, I think it was, no, I think that was Scarecrow. I think it was the other night, it was Scarecrow. And they were just so scared of everything, it just terrorized them. Delightful. I love watching people. It doesn't even bother me when I get jostled a bit. I was going through, I think it was either the Fallen or Dead Waters. It was the Fallen. And I kept feeling on my back, like someone was patting and touching my back. And there was a guy behind me, big, tall, manly man. But I kept feeling, and it was him. When I realized that when the devils jumped out at him, he would like come over and like try to get away from them. And he's like this on my back, and it's like he doesn't even know where he is. He's just, ah. And I'm like, what is this? And it's a big strapping youth. It's like, you know, maybe in his 20s. It's like, God damn it, you know, you're bigger and stronger than that demon, and you certainly don't expect me to protect you. It just made me laugh. And I don't mind being pushed around a little bit in the house like that, so long as they don't steal my wallet or anything, because I'm well padded. The long as they don't knock me off my feet, I'm fine. You know, I got my trusty umbrella like a walking stick. So long as they don't knock me down, I'm fine. But it makes me laugh, because I love watching people get scared. And when I actually get scared myself and go, ah! Then I'm sure people enjoy watching that too. I don't really have time for more impressions in this video. It's gone over 40 minutes. I do love the way I look. I didn't realize how well my hat and ensemble went together. I never really looked at it. And I've been all at Horror Nights tonight, and I thought, damn, I look this good with the black and white and black and white. That's not bad. So here's this cocktail, which turned out to be much better tasting than it deserved to be. I'll probably actually finish it, not dump the rest into the toilet or anything. So I'll get drunk, because there's a lot in here. Remember, I put 5 shots from each of those bottles into that thing, and so it's going to be a lot more. Probably refill this glass several times. So yeah, I'll get up at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, just in time to go to Horror Nights again. Tomorrow, though, the plan, and we don't know if the plan will come to fruition, but I'm hoping I'll be meeting with a buddy of mine, and we will be able to make the video for the final Scare Zone cocktail. That is to say, loosely speaking, as far as I'm concerned, the Chainsaw Clowns are a Scare Zone, because they're in one set location, and even if there aren't any set design, we do have their own soundtrack, actually. And oh, I love it when they do the Pennywise dance, even though it's not an officially, it is not an official IP. I would say it, as the very least, is what I call a secondary or tertiary IP, because it's clearly referenced when the clowns do the Pennywise dance, and I love it when they do that. Plus, they're not just clowns, they're like supernatural clowns. So that does fit into the concept as well. And I love the one, I love the clown that does chainsaw noises and other things to scare you, like, you know, low interest rates. Or is it high interest rate? I forget which is supposed to be scary. You know, the economy. I can imagine other scary things he might use if he was clever enough. You know, it'd be funny if he said things like, you know, your girlfriend's dad. That would be, especially if you said that to like a teenage boy or something. Oh yeah, scary things. But his chainsaw was missing for a few days, and he had rubber chicken instead. And so he shakes the chicken and goes, chicken noises. And then there's the one that's got the suit with the polka dots that was worn by Marty. Is it Marty? Is that the name of the character? The zebra in Madagascar Part 3. I think his name is Marty. It may not be Marty, but I may be wrong. And so every time I see the clown in the polka dot jumpsuit, the first thing in my mind is the music. I think to myself, da 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 da. You know, circus afro, polka dot, afro. Da 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 circus, da 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 afro. You know, circus afro, da 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 polka dot afro. Yeah, that's what I think. I don't dare sing it out loud. Because people will say, fuck crazy! Yeah, but I love that. I love the clowns. The clowns are wonderful. And they fill me with joy, utter, unapologetic joy. They sometimes break in the line at the taco truck. I love that. They get online and harass people while they're buying tacos. Oh, God. I just love that. The clown came up to me. I got a pretzel and I got a Dufftoberfest beer from Duff Gardens and one of those yummy warm pretzels with a little cheese and mustard. And I'm taking it over to the Springfield, to the Krusty Burger place to sit down and have my beer and my pretzel. And the clown says, "Ooh, that looks yummy." And I said, yeah. He says, "The pretzel looks good too." It's like, oh, the clown's flirting with me. And I'm thinking, oh, come on, the clown's not flirting with you. He's just making a cannibal joke. No, he's flirting with me. And then I realized, of course he's flirting with me. Because, wait for it, we all flirt down here. Ooh. Oh, that's awful. That's just awful. Just clowning around. Yes. You're a nice looking boy. I bet you have a lot of friends. Anyway. You know what they say. A penny spent is a penny earned, and sometimes you might blow your money on something foolish like an expensive cocktail at Dufftoberfest, at Duff Gardens, but you can be dollar foolish, but still be penny wise. Well, enough of that. That's tomorrow. Oh, God. I'm almost an hour long on the video. I hope it actually uploads at YouTube. It may be, I may get, this is too long a video, sorry, fuck you. Hopefully it will upload. God, the longest one I've made for a cocktail. I don't think I've ever made a video 50 minutes before. I better shut this fucker off before it gets any longer. So, tomorrow I'll be making a video, hopefully on location in Springfield, USA, for the clowns and doing a cocktail on site. And that will be the last Scare Zone cocktail. Then I might do one for Bill and Ted at some point. I should, because it's the last year. I'm not sure what, or how, or when, or where. I'd like to have a beer for Bill and a Mai Tai with a little umbrella for Bill. No, scratch that, reverse it. A beer for Bill, a little Mai Tai with a little umbrella for Ted. But because I think that'd be appropriate. But I'm not sure how to do that, where to do that. Is there a tiki bar at Universal? No, I don't think so. Where do I find it? Do I have to go to Disney? You can get to a tiki bar? Oh, that would be perverse. That would be utterly perverse if I went to Disney and made a Bill and Ted cocktail there. I don't think I'll do that. I'll figure something out. Isn't there some kind of Royal Pacific hotel? I'm sure there's a tiki bar on Universal property somewhere. We'll figure that out later. Until the time comes, I bid you adieu. No, not adieu. No. Never adieu, my friends. Mon ami. Au revoir. To meet again. Yes, not any finality of an adieu. No. Au revoir, my enfant. I'm switching from French to German, which is weird. Okay. My dear companions, my sweet little puppy dogs and kitty cats out there, I'm drunk. And babbling as this video gets closer to an hour long, and I can't do that. Wow. I am still surprised the cocktail turned out nice instead of nasty. Drink responsibly if you drink at all. Obey all traffic laws, including not drinking while driving. And don't drink any of this shit if you're under 21. At least, not in public. Because you get in troubles. It's a fucking felony. And don't get caught. Be good, stay alive, stay safe, and stick around to enjoy all the wonderful horror nights yet to come, please. I'd hate to lose anybody. So, with that being said, good night, sweet cats and dogs and puppy tails out there, because I'm already screwed up on this Altars of Horror cocktail. I've been sacrificed on the Altars of Horror, and I must sign off before the video goes to an hour. It's already nearly there. So, ciao Bella, see you later. Tomorrow on site in Universal Studios Florida. I hope to do a cocktail video, the last one for the streets and the zones. It should be a lot shorter because I want to upload it by YouTube on my iPhone. And it can't be anywhere near as long as this bastard which just went. What the hell was that? Do we have a poultrygeist in the house? Hey. No poultrygeists. No dead chickens. Don't see any of the little Funko Pops. It sounded like a Funko Pop got up and walked off by itself alive. Nothing seems to... Wait. There seems to be a gap between Rick Grimes. Something may have fallen off. Well, I'll worry about that in a minute. It's scary, fucking scary. I don't want to deal with this shit in the spooky dark after horror nights. things moving by themselves. That's fucking scary. But it looks like, let's see. Now that's coral, and on the fourth shelf of the third bookcase, coral grimes and the woodberry walker. So what's missing is Maggie Green. Maggie Green has gotten up and run off by herself. The Funko Pop of Maggie Green from Walking Dead has come to life and is going to attack me. That's bizarre. Okay, the cat is right here. She didn't do it. We heard the noise. Ooh, I'm frightened. Get a young priest and an old priest and pray for me. I'm going to go see what's going on. But the Funko Pop that should be over there is not there anymore. It's gotten up and left by itself. I will check on this tomorrow. If I'm still alive, still sane, and not possessed, hopefully you will find out if I'm okay. It's weird to end a video on a supernatural cliffhanger, but I'm afraid I have to. Bye-bye. Hopefully not forever. Help. Help. Help.